Now, look, firstly, the cost of living, 100%. Many of you might be thinking about, getting your kids involved with stuff that's not on a wee skittery screen and cost a fortune, but ways of saving a few bob around the house. This is the amazing work of Acorn Farm. It's a community initiative based in Socolos Park on the waterside, and they want more individuals and families in the city and district to join their I Can Grow program. Basically, grow your own grub. Shauna Kelby, we've known for years, the Foyle Festival, first Foyle Film Festival director, but of course she's now Acorn Fund Development and Support Officer, big long job title, at the Community Foundation for Northern Ireland. Arlene Douglas is here as well, who is a horticulturalist with the Conservation Volunteers. Ladies, great to see you both.
Good to see you, Mark.
We love doing a bit of horticulture around this part of the world, Arlene. And Shauna, it's an interesting conversation, isn't it? As you're a busy mum, you're a busy professional, and all of that. Sometimes do you think we, in our minds, we like to be thinking we're doing the right thing as we tokens? Because I was saying the off air, I thought I was going to solve the world and give an allotment. I got the best allotment on the water side and couldn't keep up with it. It's real life kicks in sometimes with this stuff, does it?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think allotments, and this is part of the plan for the Acorn Farm I Can Grow, is that we give you a size that's sizable for your lifestyle. So 1 metre by 1 metre, excuse me, box is really, really good because you're not overwhelmed by the size of it. You can do, and you're not going to do too much damage. When you're taking on an allotment, it's actually a big undertaking, a huge responsibility, and you need a wee bit of know-how. So the I Can Grow is for people who are beginners, for some people who are experienced, who want to do more. Allotments and community gardens tend to be, from the part of our program, we have a program that works with those people, is for people who have a bit more experience, who know the pitfalls, and then they share that knowledge with the beginners, and I Can Grow.
Well, let's get to the gardening in a wee second with Arlene. Am I still right in saying that the Acorn model was a number of people in the city coming together and saying, right, I could be given a few bob here privately to this charity or that, but we were actually going to taking a cut out of your wages to say, right, we want to actually form a wee fund, very humbly, an Acorn, from which great oaks might grow. Is that still the philosophy, Sean?
Yeah, it is. And so that's the Giving Circle. So we have a Giving Circle.
Incredible.
Yeah, so we do that, and that's kind of runs alongside the kind of other kind of bigger Acorn Farm project. But it emerged out of that as a kind of idea of looking at what we're trying to do here locally, how we can encourage people to take ownership of their own lives, some of their own issues, their health, their nutrition, and learn something. And it's also a couple of generations ago that people were doing this. It's not new. It's not new.
Well, Ron, tithing isn't new. I mean, religious communities would have traditionally, I think it was a tenth or whatever. I don't know if the Presbyterians around my way give a tenth. When I was wee, Shauna, it's not too many people do that. Go and say, right, okay, I'll give you a percentage of my wages, put it away and invest it in the community.
Yeah.
It's a very generous thing. How many gifters have you in the ranks? So
within the Giving Circle, and it's actually, believe it or not, mostly women, so there's 18 of us.
It's still a goodly number.
But all the Acorn Farm stuff, it's the National Lottery's that funder for that, so we give that.
So basically, you started the wee Acorns, and then then the lottery comes and goes. These guys know what they're doing, and they're in it for the long term, and they give you big bucks.
Yeah,
it's a nice model.
Nice model, big bucks, but also our other partners. Obviously, we couldn't do it without Arlene. We couldn't do it without our local authority, Down Evangelist Council. We've also got community garden support and developing healthy communities. So it's a really good strategic partnership because looking at health, growing, what the city needs fabric-wise, and as you're talking about earlier, infrastructure and beautiful spaces.
I'm not trying to trip you up. Do you ever grow anything? Are you a grower?
I do. I have one. I have a one.
You have a wee box?
I do.
And it's a metre by metre by metre?
Mine's a 1 metre by 1 metre box.
And you're not going to get 20 spuds in there?
Well, I did. I got a lot of spuds last Christmas. Right. So I put my spuds in. So I ate my own spuds last Christmas. 7 years and dug them up.
I would have thought with only a metre to play with, you'd be going, put the expensive stuff in, like parsley and,
you can put the parsley.
Sage.
Yeah, well, there's parsley. No, I've grown peas and beans, and with Arlene's help, spuds. My carrots were a total disaster. But spinach, and as you were saying, you were doing all your herbs, and even that, Mark.
But herbs are expensive.
Yeah, but it's actually a huge difference, believe it or not. If you look at it, it makes a big difference.
But I think about this stuff that you're practicing all the time, and you were going like, who would grow a leek in one of your boxes?
People.
When I could go to the water side and get a packet of 3 leeks last weekend, and I'm still eating the soup off them.
Yeah.
For how much?
Don't know.
pound.
Yeah. Well, that's good value.
Amazing, but it was in plastic, and I was
Yeah.
going, right, great value, but then I'm chucking more plastic in my bin, and the head is forever deep.
Well, the thing is, see if you overgrow, you can share your produce. You can also freeze it. So that's actually a tip. The top tip is to freeze. So you do, sometimes if you overgrow and you don't have enough people, you can share it with your neighbours, or you can freeze it. So I would freeze quite a bit of things. Even, when I slice up lemons, I'll freeze those.
Yeah.
Or parsley, that have an abundance of parsley, I'll just stick it in a freezer bag and put it in the freezer. And then I have that throughout the year. So things like that are, you can't freeze spuds. They don't work so well.
No.
Well, apart from chips. But fresh spuds are nice. So, but I just, don't get disappointed by it and don't overreach. Do what you can and be sort of content with that.
Aye. No, I get it. And take the pleasure of a simple thing done well. Arlene, great to have you in as well. What's your story as a grower? What's your passion? Where did you get the green fingers happening?
I think it was always there, like my granny, both my grannies were growers, and I had an interest when I was young. And then maybe that come from a farming background. Tyrone. Yeah, Castledare. So I come from a farming background. So those, that was kind of always there in the background. And then left me probably a while and done to my later years, and then come back into love gardening and that when I had children, especially like in the evening times. That was kind of my wee bit of freedom in the evening times. And then went back to college, was interested in horticulture, and went back to college and studied at Caffrey and done foundation degree there.
It's the balancing point, ladies, isn't it? About adventure and misadventure. My allotment was a misadventure, Shauna, but the wee square box, but I've seen this with kids. Oh, it's great for a half an hour and the seeds are in, and then I've gone back in 3 months and it's just weeds, and it's a worse idea now than it was before we even started. And I don't know. I don't know how we solve this stuff. I mean, there's a Castledare woman sitting beside you. Lidl's have said they want to go in there. I wonder what the local farmers will think about that. Will they get a proper cut from Lidl's? Or will the boys who do soup veg around the corner from Arlene's people, will they get turned over by Lidl's? Isn't it funny how complicated food is?
It's the issue, and it's the unifying issue for all of us. So all of us are interested in food, and all of us require food. And I think a wee bit of control around your food is important to exercise yourself. As I said, it's not that long ago that our grannies were all growing and we all knew somebody who grew, and it was not a big deal. And now it's become this sort of deal, but it just requires a bit of attention. If people are able to run to the gym, I think they're able to run out and look at a 1 metre and check that it's not overgrown and give it a wee bit of attention.
I get that. And you're right about the grannies, honest. Have you ever heard in Tyrone, did they have the Brock men? Arnie, no, right there in the bog side. So the peelings of your spuds went into a bucket, and a boy came round with a cart and put the brock, as it was called, into the bucket, and the bucket then was emptied out into the pigs around the corner, and the pigs apparently were as plump as the healthiest pigs in Ireland.
Yeah, my granny had pigs, and all the peelings all would have went out to feed them. I think most people in them days all had a pig at home.
Are we disconnected? I think we have, haven't we? Because you can go down to any one of the big supermarkets and eat, and you could call it fresh. It's not fresh if it's flown halfway around the damn world, but you could eat any cuisine and cook it from scratch tonight in 20 minutes from anywhere in the world. Are we spoiled?
Yeah.
We are.
We're spoiled. And we want to taste different things, I think, as well. But I think just as far as growing, it's just learning, and with Acorn Farm and people getting the metre by metre boxes, we're showing them and giving them all the instructions they need and guiding them through the process, of how to grow.
And you go around the house?
Yeah.
You actually go to the house?
She does. We can go to their house if they need the help. So everybody gets their metre by metre box. Everything they need, all the compost, and the compost is from the green waste
and
from the brown bins. That's turned into compost.
Where's the catch here?
Are people catch? There's no catch. There's no catch. You're just learning. So
why wouldn't you want one of these in every garden?
Well, that's the dream.
But you have hundreds already, Shauna.
We do. We have 600 already.
We have 850 went through it, and this year I'll bring another 200 people.
That's just fencing. I mean, I was down with Robert, your colleague, down in Brook Park. It's just mid-length fencing posts,
Uh-huh.
two, on their flat kind of thing, but too tall. It's only a foot high, the wee box, but
Yeah. And it's
You can have it higher if you need it.
if you have have any problems, maybe bending over and that, it can be made higher.
I think the thing as well is the horticultural support, because a lot of people, attempt to grow and they just need their hand held a wee bit, especially if you haven't done it, you haven't grown up with it. And because Arlene is able to provide that through herself and a few other people from conservation volunteers, it makes the difference. Plus, you're part of a community, you're part of this close Facebook page. Arlene sends out newsletters. Everybody sees the wins. They also see the fails. They also say, look, this isn't working for me. So it's about
what is that till like? You're probably too, because you were reared in the country, you probably can't remember growing your first herb or your first spud.
I still can remember growing a lettuce that my granny gave me.
It comes up, and it's so lettuce.
Yeah.
And you're going, this is, I can eat that.
Yeah. And there's a sense of achievement as well when you grow something and then you eat it. And it tastes so different. There definitely is a different taste than food that you buy out of supermarkets that's been thrown halfway around the world. You get that nice flavour, and
it's amazing.
It's hard to
I love doing it because I've only got so much space and I had to get rid of the allotment. But I've kept the herbs up, Shauna, and see the pleasure of making soup, like creamy blue cheese soup with mushrooms or something like that, right? But the people are going, oh, what's the flavour? And you go, oh, that's it. That's actually a bay leaf and some rosemary and sage out of my back garden.
Oh, that's good.
But it is good.
Yeah. So, give yourself a pat on the back for that. A lot of people don't bother. The other thing I would say, is the taste. The taste is magnificent.
It is.
Different.
And no plastic.
No plastic. And last year or the year before, I grew tomatoes for the first time. There's no comparison.
Did you cut them up with a wee bit of salt in your hand?
Delicious.
Wee bit of salt, no?
Of course. You need a bit of sea salt. Oh, it's delish. So, just give it a go and you'd be amazed then. There's quite a few people have gone on and got additional boxes and done more than what we've originally introduced them.
But then when you look at the box, you're going, all I need is 8 mid-length fencing planks and 4 wee bits of 4x4 wood. And you make your own. You make a dozen.
You could, surely. You can make
what a great present, for Christmas.
definitely.
Yeah.
And
it's the amount you can grow, within that, but as a metre by metre box. But you can put like 9 different types of vegetables within that box.
Gosh.
You can put one potato in a square foot, and then you make it 6 to 10 potatoes out of that in that 1 square foot.
But then it's 6 months to get the spuds. I love the herbs because they're stayers. When the rosemary comes up, it stays
forever.
Rosemary forever.
Yeah.
And sage and parsley.
And mint and all of those, they can take over and all that great.
The mint can take over. Yeah.
They can take over.
Put the mint in a pot.
Yeah.
Arlene, what's the deal here? I would have thought people listening to this would go on, that's something my granny needs now that she's maybe got a bit more time on her hands, or my dad would love that. Or the Waynes, what's not to like? I mean, how do we get our meter boxes and free compost and free advice and newsletter and support and everything? God, you'd be chewing the food that they grow.
Yeah, so it's open now. Applications are open. They opened Friday, and it's open until the 16th of January. You can go on to
the Community Foundation for Northern's website, and I think there's links from Council's website as well. I don't know if you guys have.
And it'll be going up as well.
And then we'll post it out as well through the various social platforms.
I'll try and get that out on mine.
Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Shauna, when I have you here, I have to ask you about those beautiful geodesic domes. They look like space-age, massive golf balls made of glass emerging just off Browning Drive and BT47. I mean, game changers visually. Well, what can you tell us inside? We're hoping to get a broadcast there as soon as we possibly can this side of the summer.
Yeah, no, we're definitely in the spring. Hopefully we'll be complete. So that is the culmination of all of the activity that we've been doing over the last 5 years in the community with families and community gardens.
The gatehouse is finished.
The gatehouse is complete, and then this will act as a hub. So the geodesic domes are striking, as you know. They're striking visually and architecturally. Then within those, they'll house some office space, but then it's a kind of demonstration place for maybe some exotic plants that we can't grow here.
Yeah.
And it'll be, an interesting point that we'll have...
Like Kew Yarns, like that.
Yeah, but on a much smaller scale.
But I love an exotic. People love an exotic.
Yeah, they love an exotic. But I mean, it's on a smaller scale. It's a 3-acre site, or off about 3 acres. But within it, it's a really brilliant site for anything about growing learning about food, having that sense of community, and it's a beautiful space, and it's making you aware of what you put in your body and how much control you can have over that.
So when we're out with the Grandwins on a summer's day in the next couple of years, do we pop in there? Do we book it? Is there going to be a wee shop? Or do we buy herbs off you? What do we do? What?
So eventually, you can walk in. It's going to be walk in.
Just look at the plants.
You can walk in and look at the plants. There's some growing big raised beds. So if I don't know if you notice at the Gate Lodge, there's raised beds at the side of it so there's a lot of those in there too for active growing. Then there's the big geodesic dome. There's the kitchen annex, which is going to be for all that I can grow or I can cook elements, and that's a beautiful space which could be hired. You can walk around, look around. There's a wee amphitheatre. There's a solar dome to make you aware of, the solar energy and what that does. And then hopefully we're going to have some sort of market element. Small.
Amazing.
That's the plan.
I think a lot of people are on that kind of money and waiting and anxious for it. Ladies, thank you both for joining in.
Welcome. Thank you.
Arlene Douglas is at the heart of the whole I Can Grow project. Acorn Farm as well, one of the big St. Collins Park initiatives there in capable hands, of course, of Shauna Kelpie from the Acorn Fund Development. Right, folks, I'm going to be back in 10 minutes.